Hey, good afternoon. My name is Kevin Gilmore with the National Weather Service New Orleans office located in Slidell, Louisiana. This is your weekly weather briefing for Thursday, July 9th, 2020. Here's the situation overview. We're going to talk about rain chances. That'll be a little bit on the low side today and through Friday. However, the big story is going to be the heat. We have a lot of hot weather around the corner that's going to be coming up Friday and into this weekend, even lasting into the early to middle part of next week. We'll be talking about heat indices ranging in the 108 to 115 degree range, which is very dangerous. And again, we'll be talking more about that here coming up. And then we're going to take a peek at the tropics and see what kind of activity we have brewing in the Atlantic. And then we'll do a month of June climate overview, as well as talk about the current drought monitor. Here's the U.S. weather map showing the country's weather across the entire area. We do have a high pressure center that's located in the Gulf of Mexico, which is currently really dominating the weather across the northern Gulf, including our area. High pressure, as we know, actually causes a little suppression in thunderstorm activity. So we're not really seeing the widespread shower and storms that we saw the past few days, like especially yesterday across coastal Mississippi and past few days where we had actually some flooding issues. So a little bit of a drier turn. However, with that high pressure comes the heat, and we're getting a lot hotter temperatures. Today is very hot outside. Heat indices are already in the lower to mid 100s. And again, this high pressure center will kind of stay anchored where it's at and maybe even strengthen a little bit, which will keep a suppression on our atmosphere, which will keep us generally on the a little bit on the dry side, but we'll see some rain chances creeping up Saturday and Sunday, but not much. I'll show you that here in just a second. Here's a satellite view of the entire southeast United States, showing where Louisiana is here in the middle part of the screen. On the northern Gulf Coast, you see that's just a bunch of fair weather cumulus. All the thunderstorm development has been up to our north with a mesoscale convective complex rolling through now, getting into Arkansas where we have some severe weather up north. That should stay well to our north here in Louisiana and southern Mississippi and should not impact our weather, especially today and tomorrow. And of course, you see that little swirl there off in the North Carolina coastline. We'll be talking about that too in just a moment. Here's a chance of rain for today and Friday. Really not much to speak of. Again, with the high pressure anchored across the area, we're really not seeing much in the way of scattered shower activity as the radar has been pretty much dry all day. Again, the Friday, there could be a little bit more of scattered shower chances as we get towards coastal Mississippi, but even there is going to be very far and few between. Saturday and Sunday, we will start to see a little bit of an increase in spotty afternoon hit or miss shower and storms. Really, it's going to be very isolated, really widely spaced type of activity. With that storm track towards our north, with that mesoscale convective complex you just saw over Arkansas and the high pressure anchored in the northern Gulf, we'll keep a storm track that's mainly to our north, where we could see some additional complexes of showers and storms going through central Mississippi, especially on Saturday. We're not really sure in the confidence of how far south that's going to get here, as it could try and get towards like Hattiesburg, Poplarville, and Gulfport, but we're really not exactly sure on the coverage yet. But generally speaking, most people will be dry, and the big story is going to be the heat. Here's the max heat index forecast. This is for Friday. We'll be seeing highs around the 91 to 93 degree range with dew points in the mid 70s. That'll combine to create heat indices in the lower to mid 100s. Similar to today, maybe slightly hotter, but again, very, very hot feeling tomorrow. Saturday, it gets even hotter, and that's because we're going to have slightly higher afternoon highs in the 93 through 96 degree range. Dew points in the mid to possibly even upper 70s, so combining those two fuel factors is going to actually create heat indices in the upper 100s to lower 100 teens, especially as you see for Baton Rouge, Covington, across the North Shore, even in Macomb. And that's where we start to talk about very dangerous heat indices for this area, even as, like I say, going into Sunday, possibly even higher for some locations. 115 on that range. That's very high for this time of year and very dangerous as well. So again, that's going to be due to those increasing dew points and highs 94 through 97 on Sunday. We're really going to be having a big issue with the heat. So since we have this issue with the heat coming up, I want to remind people about the advisory watch warning criteria that we issue here in the New Orleans National Weather Service office. Heat advisories, we issue heat advisories, excessive heat watches, and excessive heat warnings. Heat advisories are usually when we want to see heat indices around the greater than or equal to 108 degree range, or ambient temperatures around 103, and these are issued in a short range between 12 and 24 hours. We start talking excessive heat when we're seeing heat indices greater than or equal to 113, or ambient temperatures of 105, and then depending on how far in advance it is will determine the difference between a watch and a warning. But again, excessive heat for us down here in the northern Gulf Coast or Louisiana and southern Mississippi is going to be greater than or equal to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you can see with the maps I just showed you, the chance of us being in an advisory is going to be very likely. Excessive heat, we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what some of the model guidance is going to show. It's not out of the question, but we're not really sure about just how excessive it's going to be. But heat advisories are going to be very likely, especially throughout this weekend, and just something to kind of pay attention to at this time. So for those going to be out in the heat, if you have any type of outdoor plans, anything like that, we're really stressing to people to limit your outdoor activities in this type of heat. This type of heat can be killer, especially to the elderly, young people, people who are sensitive to the heat. If you have to be out in the afternoon, make sure to drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks, wear light clothing, wear sunscreen, and make sure to kind of, if you have to do maybe some yard work, maybe do it more in the morning or towards like the late evening, towards when the sun's setting. That's usually some of the best times when to do yard work and things like that. Also, another thing too is heat-related deaths for children and pets in cars. It was reported 51 young children last year, that was 2019, were have died due to being trapped in cars or being locked in cars due to excessive heat. That's 51 young children, and we've already had one fatality as early as April this year. So we want to really stress to people how that you should not leave your children or pets behind in cars, even just for a little bit of time. And of course, for more heat-related safety tips, please go to, as you see the link below, weather.gov/heat. It'll tell you more preventative ways that you can protect yourself and your loved ones from this excessive heat. Tropical weather outlook for the next 5 days. We're watching a little bit of a low pressure center here that's rotating a tropical low, as we saw with the satellite imagery on the North Carolina coastline. This system has an 80% chance, well now 90% chance based on the National Hurricane Center's 2 o'clock outlook, of developing to a named system. Should it become named, it will be Tropical Storm Faye. It may become a depression first, then a tropical storm, but really just remains to be seen right now. This system will be moving up to the north, towards the northeast, so it's going to be the mid-Atlantic coastline going towards New England. Here's a satellite view to show where that area of weather is located for in perspective to Louisiana. Very far away. That's why we're stressing no impacts are expected along the northern Gulf Coast as the system tracks up to the north, and it will cause some rain and storm chances across all the New England coastline. So if you have family and friends across some of the major cities in New England, they may be impacted by this system. Not expected to be a major system or a major hurricane or anything like that. It'll just be mostly a rainmaker and create some kind of rough surf in marine conditions. Here's a look back in June real quick to show that we did kind of end the month with a near normal to slightly above normal month when it comes to climatological precipitation. New Orleans, we saw around 10.16 inches of rain, and around Baton Rouge, 8.74. That ranged around 1 to 3 inches above normal for this time of the year. But generally speaking, around the whole area, a range around 6 to 10 inches of rain was seen in the month of June. And with the Drought Monitor, thanks to heavy rainmakers we saw early in the month, like the Tropical Storm Cristobal, followed by weeks of heavy rainfall events like we just saw last week, the drought conditions are completely gone. So that's good news in that respect. Of course, you don't want too much of a good thing. So we want to watch the tropics very closely, especially as we get towards peak hurricane season coming up the next month or two. So summary of what we just talked about, rain chances are staying on the low side today through Friday, and the main story is the heat. We are very focused and concerned about excessive heat possibilities as we go into especially Saturday and Sunday, and then even going beyond that, Monday and Tuesday sees that some of this excessive heat possibly could extend even beyond that. Lasting it through Wednesday. As we talked around Wednesday, we're seeing a little bit more of an increase in afternoon storm chances, which could suppress some of the excessive heat possibilities. So again, heat-in season around 108, 115 degree range is very possible, and we want to make sure you take all necessary precautions to stay safe during this hot weather. Tropics are quiet, no impacts across this area in the next 5 days, and we ended June slightly above normal at precip, so let's see what July has in store for us. So we'll end it there, and I hope everyone has a great day.